just going on YouTube. This is Ask the Roots. So I'm going to review the third album by singer and songwriter Michelle Branch. Basically, this project is called Hotel Paper, and it came out in the summer of 2003. Now, the fair about this album was this did pretty approximately modestly throughout the charts back in those days in the early 2000s, pitches like that. This had a couple top 40 singles on the Billboard 100, one of which was a top 20, one of which was a top 40, so some good type fairs. Had 3 singles, but it actually had a 4th one that's on the international edition, so I am going to at least review that extra song. I may not review the extra 2 songs on the international edition, but it is some good type fare. I assume that the rest of those are pretty good because I recommend all 13 of the songs minus the intro on this particular album, plus the 14th song, which is one of the bonus songs of the international edition. So basically excellent type fare. Pretty good classic here. Definitely pretty notable type classic here out of the early 2000s, pitches like that when you think of adult contemporary type radio and more singer-songwriter type pop music pitches like that. It seems like this particular album by Michelle Branch, within the pitch behind it, particularly this has the aspect like that sunset bleed kind of aspect within the tones as far as something that's just great. Like the album cover, which is a pretty excellent type album cover, real gorgeous type picture pitches like that, but it's just kind of the fair as far as saying when you pay attention to the product of it. A lot of this is particularly just the main theme of about this product has the fair between the hours past like probably 3:30, 3:45 to probably about 6:45, 7:15, especially in the summertime as far as those fairs can happen. Just to miss the pitch, this is like easy kind of embrace. Most of this album is just easy kind of embrace for what you do and the antics of what you would probably be up to within the fairs of once tasks of like the standard day blase is kind of over with. This the products of this, whether it is going to like an Arby's or some places like that, a brief kind of movie theater, some of those type pitches, restaurant to eat some of those type products, and just extra type fare, particular pitches like that, putt golf, some of those type pitches within fair, just extra type time, especially having a more homebound kind of work-a-day type diva in mind within those pitches as far as those first halves. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, but I look within the product here, it is to say that apart from this is kind of like an custom type product, so it's just to say, despite the fact that this is getting a 10 out of 10, it's just something to know going in that the most engaging type song in terms of like a more dance-centric type product about it would probably be Are You Happy Now, which is only on the international edition. So if you scrap that song from the album that you might pick up, which only has 13 songs on the normal edition, just kind of fair. There's not really like a dance kind of ferocious kind of festivity within those pitches. Not a bad album in any sense. It's going to get a 10 out of 10 like I was saying, but it's just the fairs as far as saying a lot of this is more Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday type appeal, more so than Friday, Saturday pitches like that, which is interesting. Being singer-songwriter, I think the pitch behind it, I think definitely within the pitch, it probably could have been some excellent type fair, just seeing like the spices in her system to have wondered the concept of her having like kind of I mean, she kind of has similar type fashions like Alicia Keys and kind of like Alicia Keys and Maya in their pitches like that. It's kind of within the relative type aspect to kind of find the particular fair. It's actually kind of an open valve within some type aspects within the tone behind it. A little bit of like that relative kind of frolic of Ashley Simpson, but it's kind of within the pitch as far as saying this has more within the fair, just more straightforward in a workaday type sense. So it kind of gives like Kelly Clarkson and Pink type vibes, but just within the pitch of more kind of straightforward, more amidst like the sunset hours, like I was saying. So it's just the pitch, but I just feel like the fair behind it, the difference between Pink and Kelly Clarkson, Avril Lavigne, some of those type folks that had kind of somewhat similar type fashions within is just the fashion that it just doesn't have like the Friday to Saturday type job, but it's just the pitch. I definitely recommend getting the international edition because I would have to say Are You Happy Now is a real excellent type song within pitch. It's a real nice, excellent type luncheon outing type spice pitches like that. Not too many commonplace crafted songs for more kind of outdoor kind of guacamole type fairs pitches like that, especially in like summer evenings. But just being able to say, yeah, this is a pretty banner, notable type classic out of pop music and R&B pitches like that within those fairs. Now, I think I said Are You Happy Now is the single that was the Santana song within the luncheon type fair within the pitch. It's not actually Are You Happy Now, it's The Game of Love. So it's kind of the pitch. The Game of Love is on the international edition. That's the one I was talking about. So I definitely recommend picking that up if it has the possibility of getting towards it. I'm questioning if iTunes has that particular edition because that's probably the one I would purchase just to get the 3 extra songs. Just the pitch. So it's excellent type fair to get that particular one if it still has the commonplace of being available. But yeah, to talk about the singles now, The Game of Love is like a nice summer sunset bleed to kind of get here, I'd have to say. The Game of Love with the band Santana is like a nice summer sunset bleed occasion, kind of get within these aspects here. Just some late luncheon fun, I'd have to say, within the tones behind it. Just punch bowl kind of pitches like that, guacamole, potato salad, some of those type pitches. Just kind of some outdoors type aspects within the tone as far as those pitches can happen. So I look after it. This Tibble type conduct to like some gathering. Do like the pitch like some basic kind of mingle within the aspect of just kind of a little bit more jazziness within the fair. I mean, I would probably say it feels more of like a punch bowl, kind of more healthy, kind of Kool-Aid type sense within the pitch. Not so much like childish kind of Kool-Aid, but within the pitch it is more kind of fruit punch, some of those type of aspects. But I think within the tone, probably within the routine behind it, it wouldn't be within it wouldn't be within the uncommonplace if there were like some Budweisers. There were like some Budweisers, Keystones, Coronas, some of those type pitches within the tone as far as those aspects going to happen. So I look at the aspect, definitely type good type fair. This is kind of like a mildly spicy. The spicy song on this particular album, definitely like the aspect behind this within the blistering type appeal. It's basically just like some good summer type festivity within the aspects, like the product of like good commotion within the aspect, just some outdoor type fairs. So just picnic type fair pitches like that, just kind of backyard pitch, some of those type fairs. But you really enjoy the mingle facet about that song. So it's just good type pitch. But Are You Happy Now is the second single. This is the lead single off this album in terms of the actual standard edition of this album. Are You Happy Now is like a frosty and froggy kind of sunset gaze hours kind of get within these aspects. And I don't mean frosty in like the sense of it being cold out. I mean the pitch as far as when folks say stay frosty, the actual tone of being frosty and kind of being in a mode where you would be kind of frosty and engaged within the pitches of actually having a good time. Just kind of frosty, froggy pitches like that, kind of sunset gaze hours, some stock kind of 2000s kind of post shift drift around as far as this first kind of. So just to miss the pitch, some of those type ones where you just look at the product. Plenty of folks have done songs like this. Avril Lavigne, Kelly Clarkson, Pink, some of these type of folks. It's that typical kind of aspect. It is something that's just pop music kind of fair, standard kind of makeshift workaday type sludge with an aspect as far as something that you'd listen to probably 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. Some type of aspects within the tone. Kind of that sort of particular product of it before like the real kind of it's pretty good interchangeable type pitch with the aspect, but it does have some good charm about it. I mean, the thing about Michelle Branch doing these particular posts, Michelle Branch doing these post hours type bleeds with an aspect is the fact that she has a certain charm about it that they're not just blase within where it kind of feels phoned in within a pitch where it just is getting you to work and doesn't have much spark or energy. It's actually the fair where some of these do have the jive. I mean, even despite the fact that the real activity for some of these would just be like grabbing Sonic or a Whopper at Burger King, some of those type fairs at least has a little bit more sparkiness within the tone where you have a little bit more jaunt within the aspect, more pep in your step within some of those type feels. She just handles these particular ones with a little bit more appeal and overall grab compared to the tone of most. And not to say that other artists don't have, but it just feels a little bit more. I feel like the composition of these songs have excellent aspects where it's not just kind of gummy and phoned in within those pitches. Yeah, but there's plenty of these type songs I would listen to. I do not the name names within pitch. Like I feel like a lot of these do have the aspect with these are just some good type fairs within it. So Are You Happy Now is just real nice one, froggy type aspect, good pitches like that. Breathe is the quality one. Is the second or third single. It's like a stock kind of post shift embrace kind of get here. Just kind of some Tuesday music pitch like that. Wednesday songs that fairs just grab Sonic, feeling kind of charmy. I'd say with an aspect by charmy is the aspect of having bells nearby pitches like that where it's not just the blase or the usual frustrate, but the actual tone of like, hey, you know, just kind of being chatty and not so much foul with an aspect of like the Tibble report twos as far as the pitches like just having a ruined day. It's kind of aspect of having some charm about you pitches like that. Just basic kind of makeshift bleed. It's kind of within the fair as far as those conducts kind of have. So it's just to miss the pitch of like Tibble. So Are You Happy Now is a top 20 single, like I was saying. Breathe is the top 40, so it's good 1-2 punch for this particular album as far as this fair is going to happen. Now this is what I talk. I mean, I feel like this album is pretty excellent within the fairs, but I do feel like I think had this particular album had a song like The Game of Love, something like that, but just with a little bit more dance bite about it. I think the difficulty between doing like a pop album that's more focused, full bound kind of on makeshift and just like the standard hours and just either embrace after things are done or just to miss like the lunch rush and some of that fairs just to miss like the work hours kind of the pitch that it needs some sort of spice within the pitch. Not to say Michelle Branch didn't have it. She has the songwriting, the melodies, pitch like that, and the aesthetic and the production fair, but it's just kind of pitch as far as saying that it the problem with doing like a full bound kind of complete shot in the arm of a central kind of aspect of this pretty much being primarily kind of work a day within the fashion is there needs to be like a Saturday song on there. It's not, I mean, I feel like Love Me Like That with Sheryl Crow is at least a good type one. That's, it's not like every one of these songs is a miss like the work hours, but it does not have too much deviate from like the product of actually being something that kind of is like, let's get tore up within a pitch, something like that. It's not to say full bound like I have a problem with her not doing that, but it's just kind of pitch that. It's just more to say that this particular album has a good rhythm of being within like the Monday through Friday kind of aspects of like the Tibble kind of usual type fare, but the routine type fare within aspects. So it's just to miss that product, but it's a good type fare within these pitches. I mean, you do have fun on this album. There are some moments that I will note the songs that have like some drinks and dancing in mind within the pitch, but it's just not as overly kind of designated. But Breathe is a nice one, just going to like some restaurant type fare pitches like that. Like I said, grabbing some Sonic, grabbing some Arby's, Burger King, some of those type pitches, just kind of feeling charmy, chatty, having like good out park bound type fare, going to like play like a going for like a round of bowling, some of those type pitches just when the it was just an extra type fare within it. Basic makeshift lead, like I was saying, so good type tone. But I look after Till I Get Over You is probably one of my more favorite songs of this album. It's the third or fourth single here. This one didn't chart at all, but it is an excellent type one. It's like a murky and glum kind of pop, morose kind of dredge kind of get here with an aspect pop music kind of morose. I'd have to say there's like some nice vanilla funk to kind of get here. I definitely like the aspect. I mean, it kind of has like a particular. It's not so much to say pout type fashion, but it just kind of has like a kind of brooding type fashion that's kind of unlike Michelle Branch for most of this album as far as these first albums. It's pretty solid type funk, but this it's kind of like Vanessa Carlton doing that particular type fare. It's just kind of the aspect. I like that particular aspect, but it's kind of like a PG movie, kind of having like those down moments as far as those fares have. Not to say like her problems are not grand within those pitches, but it's just kind of cute seeing those aspects as far as like the funk that these starlets would kind of be in. But you look at a good song to like to be like a good song to buy like some churros for a diva pitches like that, something sweet, one of those type ones, just like buy like some churros for a diva pitches like that, get like some good barbecue, one of those type fares, just Kit Kat, something like that, I'd say, and good gab song with an extra type fare of it as far as this pitch can have. But just like the tone of this particular song, that's the product between that particular fare. Just a real morose type one, just like the overall kind of gloomy, kind of acoustic type licks on that song. This real aspect has the same sort of composition as like songs like Are You Happy Now and Breathe with an aspect like the Post Hours, but just kind of a little bit more of like a funk type one. Definitely like the murky type feel, so it's good aspect. Definitely reminds like Vanessa Carlton, some type folks had to say, but good type fare. That's just the pitch. But I look after, so yeah, all 13 songs on this album I recommend, minus the intro within those pitches, which is really just 12 seconds as far as those pairs can happen. So yeah, 10 out of 10 the score particularly gets. So just some excellent type fares here within these aspects. Like I was saying, Love Me Like That with Sheryl Crow's a real excellent type one. It's like a nice country fried kind of brush, just out in the evening wind pitches like that. Some good tailgate kind of occasion, bonfire pitches like that. I'd say just reminds like a Taylor Swift type song, some of those type folks, and just Taylor Swift, Kelsey Ballerini, some of those particular type folks, just more in like a 2003 type fashion with an aspect. This kind of, it's a nice pop country type tones within this fare about it. Just a good song for some drinks. So it's a good fare about these. This one has like a good commotion about within the products of it. I would say some of the more social songs, like I feel like the more kind of punchable type one, like I was saying, would be the Game of Love on the international edition, but also Love Me Like That's just a good tailgate type one within pitch, like some social commotion. There are a few other ones on here within those pitches. I'd probably say like I was saying, Breathe is a relatively type social one, a little bit more on the go pitches like that, but just kind of the fare like some activities in mind, kind of more or less. There are some ones for like neighborhood romping, just kind of, I mean, this is not a full-bound kind of social bonanza within the pitch, but this kind of has the aspect of at least having some folks in mind, just going for like neighborhood strut runs, pitches like that, picking up like some standard goodies, some of those type aspects, just walks around pitches like that, backyard type fairs, some of those type pitches. We'll get to some of these, but Find Your Way Back's the quality ones, like a glimmering kind of sunset pier, I'd have to say, within the aspects of it. Just basic kind of unwind about this song, just some typical kind of blase weekday calmer as far as those fairs going to happen. More amidst like the pitch, just kind of more album cut type version, songs like Are You Happy Now and some of those type fairs, I'd have to say. Breathe type within the fashion. There's a series of these within those fashions. Find Your Way Back, Empty Handed, and Tuesday Morning that all had the particular type pitch as far as getting towards like the product. A lot of these songs like Find Your Way Back, Empty Handed, Tuesday Morning within the pitch just have the particular aspect of this like good, drudgy kind of orange skies peering as far as those pitch kind of go. Just typical kind of blase within the aspect. It's not to say blase in a boring type sense, but it's just kind of the pitch of this extra type fare for like weekday afternoons, pitches like that, just figuring out the conduct of what's going to happen within like the spare type moments. This particular album is just a good pop bleed type album, so it's just a good pitch to have for some of these within the fares as far as something that's for the aspects of like 530, some of those type aspects within tons. It's kind of a difference. It kind of bleeds the concept between singer, songwriter, and folksy. This is kind of more or less like a folk album with like some touches of country in there within some of those type aspects. So it's just kind of the pitch as far as having that particular fare. Has a little bit of an urban sense within more neighborhood, not so much full-bound outback within the pitch as far as saying just kind of on the outskirts within that particular fare about it. So it's just good type pitch for having some of that type within pop music, kind of like a mild Taylor Swift before Taylor Swift was kind of a thing in like the early 2000s. So it's a good pitch for that particular product of it. Kind of a little bit before Carrie Underwood as well within some type pitches, but just kind of in a more kind of blurs the lines between folk and pop as far as those first kind of. So just good type pitch for some of these. But Empty Handed is a quality one. It's like a brushy kind of neighborhood pickups that I'd say here, just getting some standard goodies like lighters and donuts, pitches like that. I'd say good for like a quick smoke, something like that. Check your phone, some type fairs, just appreciate like the outdoors as far as those pitch kind of, just to miss the product, like some hangout type fashion within the product of it. It's kind of a miss like standard commerce, just with an aspect of this neighborhood kind of bleed within those aspects as far as those fairs can happen. It's kind of been the outdoor kind of crickets chirping, so most type fairs miss the product at like 4:30, 6:30 p.m. pitches like that. It's good overall pop bleed, some of those type moments. I'd say one of these days, or actually Tuesday mornings just like that as well. It's like a long day, kind of golden gaze and peaceful kind of enjoy to kind of get within the aspects here to some of those particular type fairs, just further type aspects of this one's a little bit more country bound within pitch kind of the aspect. I feel like songs like It's You, Tuesday Morning, Breathe within some of those type senses have that particular aspect about it. There's another one like I was saying, like I think it's Find Your Way Back, some of those particular type fairs. Good type fashion for just the conduct, like some kickback. It's like a good rom-com, and Tuesday morning's like a good rom-com and clowning type song kind of within pitch, just clowning by, I mean, just giving your Bella a hard time, or just nearby starlets pitches like that, or just folks in general just kind of being, kind of just having some jokes at hand pitches like that, actually having some gab to kind of say some funniness with the aspect, just kind of a social song with the aspect, just more type fair for the pitches. It says Tuesday morning about this song. I would definitely feel like this more in the fashion. It also reminds of just like some, just continuing the theme of like the after moments, just saying like some post activity for the day kind of kickback within the pitch. It's also just overall good for some makeshift as far as this first kind of just to miss the pitch. So a lot of these songs just work for like that standard kind of commerce of this weekday extra thoughts within those pitches. This has a pretty good product of just getting you to point A to point B and getting the money in your pocket, some of those type fares within it. Desperately is a nice one as well. It's like a vanilla kind of residential strut to kind of get here to some chillax. I'd definitely say about this one, kind of unwind pitches like that. This is a dredgy type song. Same sort of kind of 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, kind of dredgy, frustrated within those pitches. It's dredgy, but it's comfy about it. I'd say within the tone, just a little bit more where it's not like, hey, you have to build a house or a fence, something like that. But it's just kind of pitch as far as saying, good song for like memes and soul bleed, just kind of chat and just have some things, some shit to say as far as those first gonna happen, just within the aspect as far as those tones gonna happen. So just within the pitch as far as getting towards it. I mean, this album, like I said, is workaday within the pitch, but there are like, it does kind of have like gab type moments where it would be kind of like the pop and kind of folksy kind of early 2000s type fashion is something that would be like a Spotify bleed pitch, just like that. So it does have chill type moments within the fashion where it just is kind of let this crank and just have good type fashions within a relative cozy type sense. In a good cozy type sense, I'd say It's used a real nice one. It's probably another one of my more favorite type ones off here. Real excellent type pitch. I mean, I enjoy a lot of this album with. I enjoy all the songs off this album, 10 out of 10, but this is a real nice one within this pitch. Is this the outro of this album, at least on the standard edition. It's used like a winding down, kind of basic, lazy, but glum kind of sunset pier to kind of get here. Just some typical dredge, I'd say. Just kind of some drowsy day relief, I'd say, within the pitch. So, yeah, like I was saying, the song goes along with Tuesday Morning and just kind of the aspect of songs like Breathe, some of those type ones, and Find Your Way Back, pitches like that, but it's kind of a mix. This one is not so much hammy with an aspect, but it does kind of have more of an mode about it. Just has a strengthier kind of tugginess about this particular song that just has a little bit more kind of raw type emotion within the pitch behind it. Just really like the appeal behind it. It's very, this one nails it. Like Till I Get Over You is a real nice one in like a glum type sense, but this particular one has a little bit more. It's You just has a little bit more strength, the aspect as far as delivering upon the harnessing of the emotions it tries to get to. So it's real nice appeal. This real sunset pier type one with the aspect, this real grit. It's real golden and drowsy kind of sunset pier pitches like that. So good type of appeals for that. Where Are You Now is kind of an interesting type one. Like the appeal behind this song, but this kind of like more or less like some extra type fare. It's like a neighborhood crawl to kind of get within the aspects behind this mild romping pitches like that. Describe like some checks mixed in or snack runs. Get like some Bic lighters, Swisher Sweet. Some of those type fares are just particular things for divas pitches like that. Extra type fare getting like some video store movies pitches like that, some of those extra type products, getting like, you know, Butterfingers for Bella's pitches, some of those type fares, but just some basic day fare within the aspects of it. Just kind of look within the product. I mean, this one is not so much as full bound designated. This is just kind of one, it feels kind of out of the ordinary where I don't think Michelle Branch has as much as full bound in mind, where it's just kind of the conduct, supposing that she's going for like snack runs pitches like that. I mean, it's not like she's just going. It's not as if she's just going and figuring I'm going to go and pick up like, you know, box of beer, some of those type fairs within the pitch, but it's just kind of the product as far as just, it has extra type moments for like neighborhood crawls, some of those type aspects as far as like the tone of just kind of some transit kind of errand run type moments that just feel kind of some neighborhood outings and kind of compositions that just feel extracurricular within the pitch. So it's just kind of the product of it. But this one is just one that's just not normally a sunset gazy within the product of it. This is kind of one that actually where you now does have like some evening basedness about it, but it's just kind of extra fair within the outing point. Just some good type products to kind of get some stuff done. Just kind of a miss like the product of just being on the go to standard transits. And I'd say one of these days is a nice one as well. This is like a little bit more of a sobering type one. It's like a Kempt and Prim kind of real talk, but bruised kind of commute to kind of get here. Just some weekday extra thoughts as far as this fair is going to happen. So just to miss the property, it's kind of similar to songs like Stay by Rihanna, some of those type pitches, but just several years before that song kind of particularly came out. Just one of those type ones that just is one of those type ones that's just to miss the product of getting things done at work. Some of those particular type fairs to miss the pitch behind it, just being composed and composition wise within the aspect of just being not slacking, being productive within the aspect behind it, but it's just kind of the aspect of this kind of this particular one's just a little bit more homebound and straightforward as far as this pitch can happen. But I do like the pitch as far as this pitch can happen. Just excellent aspect about that particular song. So just the pitch behind it. So I think I talked about every song in here as far as this fair is going to happen. Just within the aspect as far as those as far as those tones happen along with it. There's a few more songs I haven't talked about. Hotel Paper, the title track is a nice one as well as like a good brushy strut to kind of get here to some basic errands. I'd have to say extra time I'd have to probably say within the aspects behind it. Just appreciate the environment, good song to toke to and simp as far as this fair is going to happen. You know, the title track Hotel Paper is just kind of a folksy type one within the pitch. Just kind of appreciate the environment, dismiss the aspect of more neighborhood type product within it. Just kind of some Pharaoh disc. I mean, I would say probably more or less just sneak in some tokes within the product of it. Just whether or not the product of this extra type fair, just within the neighborhood jaunts of it as far as this fair is going to happen. Definitely within the hangout type fashion, but it's very easy going within the pitch as far as this going to happen. Not so much in your face and kind of like ferocious, just with the bite of like rabbit. I mean, it's just kind of more sedate within more or less the aspects of it. Just the composition behind a lot of this album, like I said, with the exception of probably songs like Love Me Like That and The Game of Love, some of those type pitches. Just is actually surprising a lot more. Just not so much lazy within the aspect of not being workaday and straightforward, but within pitch as far as saying just has like very more or less just more words like the word sedate, but just kind of within that basic kind of plain set type aspect. Just not as like it's not like a cool type personality where this is chill type stuff, but it's just not. It's kind of has like a cozy type facet about it, and like a folksy and kind of like a pop, definitely soft core, kind of more adult contemporary kind of pop, but then also in like a more folksy kind of mild country kind of licks as far as those fairs kind of. So definitely within pitch. Now I'm trying to think if there's other songs I haven't talked about on here. I want to say I talked about Find Your Way Back, some of those type ones. That was the one. That was one of the first ones I talked about on here. Empty-handed, some of those type ones. I talked about Find Your Way Back, Empty-handed, Tuesday Morning. All three of those were like a good string of like more sunset appearance. I think that's the conduct. So Alan gets a 10 out of 10. The social score I'm going to go ahead and give. I mean, this is some banner type appeal. Definitely has the aspect of making makeshift more fun within a sense. I'd probably give the social score of this album like a 9.75 out of 10 because I do feel like between like the Game of Love not being on the standard edition, I think nowadays the international edition should probably be a lot easier to grab pitches like that. And it does also have a cover song on there as well, which is the Everywhere song, which is some excellent type appeal supposedly. But me just questioning the difficulty of lapping up like that deluxe or an international edition, kind of the fair behind it, and then just the only real natch about this album is just the fact that it's not a problem that it sticks with the theme of like the sunset gaze kind of after effects of like 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. pitches like that. But I do think some degree of like a minor touch spice that it did have the tailgate song and like Love Me Like That, but just like a spice of something that probably could have been within the fair of like something to kind of get some brows going within the product of just something that doesn't have to be ravenous, but just within the pitch of just something that could have had like a jolt, something like I mean, it's not complaining full bound with the pitch, but I could have used like a jolt type song, something like that within those aspects. But I do like the composition about this album. It's a good type fair, very much a coaxing type. This album has like a good peaceful type charm about it. There's some real excellent aspects. So just to miss the fair, I mean, it does have these spices. It just kind of gets you going more in the sense of just like making, like I said, these Tuesday type moments, making Tuesdays kind of fun. I know that Tuesday's not the most hated day of the week, but it's kind of the aspect of just having some of that Tuesday sparkiness. Even Monday in certain senses, Monday, Tuesday, kind of making those days fun. Pitches like that, Wednesday, even some of those type fairs. It's just pitch of having those particular moments, getting the most out, grabbing Sonic and Arby's, some of those type pitches within those products, going to like bowling, some of those type pitches more missed the beginning of the week. So it does do that, but I would say 9.75. In terms of the future, like Michelle Branch has recently dropped like 2022 albums, pitches like that, some of those type fairs. So she does have some newer ones in recent times. She's dropped like at least 5 albums, I want to say. She had like I was saying, she has 2 albums before this one, so some good type fairs to get to some more of these down the road as far as this pitch can happen. But pretty banner type one. Do like the aspects, pretty good quality within the appeals of how this particular album hits pretty heavily. So I like the aspects as far as the blitziness about it, but good overall pop and folk type album out of the early 2000s as far as that banner type sense, I'd have to say.